I'm attorney Ramsey Barawi, and this is Your Money, Your Life. In this segment, we will discuss the important relationship between fitness, good nutrition, portion control, and weight loss. Joining me in this discussion is Charlene Bazarian, an amazing fitness and weight loss success story. By way of background, Charlene is a lawyer, mom, DJ, and certified trainer. She started her weight loss journey after an aha moment when she realized just how many pounds she gradually gained over several years. Today, almost 100 pounds lighter, Charlene is a fitness guru whose story has been featured in many publications, including Good Housekeeping, local newspapers, and of course, social media. In addition, not only has she appeared in fitness infomercials, but also serves as an inspiration, encouragement, and source of support to countless friends, neighbors, and Facebook friends. Charlene, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, you mentioned an aha moment in a Good Housekeeping article. Now, please talk about this aha moment and how that moment changed your life.
I had gone for a day of beauty right before my son's christening, and I had to ask for the robe and to go back to get my spa treatment. And it was a one-size-fits-all robe, and it didn't fit. And I had to go back to the reception desk and ask if there was a larger robe. And I just remember that being the most embarrassing moment, and that sort of made me make up my mind to change my lifestyle. And I had realized over time that I had gradually put on weight. I had gained a little bit in college, a little more in law school, and a little bit more after I got married. But it wasn't until after I had my first son that I realized how the pounds had actually crept on. And after that moment, that was just life-changing to me, that I knew I had to make some serious changes.
Now, it had to be embarrassing that they gave you a one-size-fits-all robe and it didn't fit.
I always say that the robe lied, but yes,
The robe lied.
the robe lied.
The robe lied. Okay. So did you at that point decide, okay, I need to make some changes, I need to take this weight off, this is not acceptable?
I said after that I never wanted to have that kind of moment again, and that just started a relentless drive to get back in shape and lose the weight.
What did you do in terms of trying to get into shape? I mean, first of all, did you do any research to see what sort of exercising you ought to do, or did you just decide to start from the ground up?
Well, I think I had tried a lot of things over the years. When some weight had crept on, I had tried all kinds of different programs and nothing really worked for me. And I think after that day at the spa, I started to do some home video workouts till I could get a little bit more comfortable. And what I usually say is any other time I had tried to lose weight, like most women I think, I had featured more cardio aspects of it. Tried going for walks or aerobics, and there's definitely a place for cardio in a workout, but I found that weight training ended up being the thing that really had some life-changing results for me, and that's what I usually recommend now, is that women or men too incorporate weights into their training routines along with cardio. I think that's just, some people just get on the elliptical or the treadmill and just start going or go for walks and think that's enough to really change their physical features, and I think that weight training does a lot more than that.
Let's talk a little bit about the weight training that you do today. Let me back up. Are you still doing weight training?
Yes.
You've taken all the way. Okay, so you continue with the weight training. What kind of weight training do you do?
I do a different muscle group every day so that you don't overtrain anything, and I work with free weights and machines, and I try to build more muscle mass. And I always say the beauty of weight training is that the more muscle mass you have, the more calories you burn even at rest, as opposed to when you do cardio, most of your calorie burn happens during the activity, but when you stop, so does the calorie burn. So you can get a lot more bang for your buck if you work out with weights.
Well, it's my understanding that with weight training, what it does is it gets your metabolism going.
Yes, that is all.
And of course that's very helpful. I call it jump-starting your metabolism.
Right.
All right, so you did some cardio, you did some weight training, you continue to do that. How often do you do weight training? Is that something you do once a week, just twice a week? How often do you do that?
I mean, for me, I weight train and do a little bit of cardio every day. But that's, that's me, and that's what I found worked for me, and I've come to love it. When I would do my workouts in the morning, I come to call that my coffee before my coffee. I find it centers me for the day. It gives me more energy. I feel like I am ready to take on the rest of the day after I get at least one workout in. The cardio I tend to work in later in the day. Sometimes it's a walk if the weather is nice, maybe a bike ride, or if my boys are at a karate class, I work out at the gym next door, and I'll get on the elliptical, and I have a very strict rule that if I want to watch TV, I have to DVR the program, and I watch it on the exercise bike, so that way, if I want to watch TV, I'm pedaling away, and I find that's an easy way to get in some extra calories burned off while I'm watching TV.
Wow, so you do this every day. That's really quite disciplined.
I mean, my advice is I make my workouts like brushing my teeth. It's something I just don't question. I've just made it part of my routine, and I enjoy it, and I think of it as work, I guess. I think of it as just something I do that makes me feel good and gives me energy and has good results.
We know from what you've said that the weight training and the cardio has helped you lose weight. Has it helped you in any other ways? For example, has it helped with regard to your happiness, your self-esteem, how you feel about yourself?
I definitely think you hold yourself differently, and I think that I set a good example for my children. I think that I try to set an active lifestyle that I think that it has to be part of what you do every day. And like, we don't just do exercises. I mean, we try to do fun things. We go for bike rides, we hike, we you know, I'll go out and run around with the boys, which wasn't something I think I would have been able to do at my heaviest. I think that it would have been a lot for me to go out in the backyard and kick a ball around with them, or to go ice skating or bike riding. And now that's just a part of our lifestyle, and I'm glad I'm able to be a part of their lives like that, rather than just sitting on the sidelines and not being a part of things.
And I bet they're happy to have you participating with them as well.
That's true, and I run a tight ship, because it's like on Saturday and Sunday, I'm like, okay, boys, it's outside, and we have to go do something.
In the U.S. society, we're all very much goal-oriented. We set a goal, and once we achieve that goal, of course, we celebrate that. Now, you set a goal, you achieved your goal, but you're still continuing with the weight training and the exercising and all that stuff. Why don't you stop? What's up with that?
Well, what I always say is that there's no touchdown dance and there's no finish line, and it has to become part of your everyday routine. I think a lot of people have some success with losing weight or working out, and then they feel like, you know, I'm done, and they celebrate, and then it's very, very easy for the weight to come back on. And I worked so hard to get it off that I just never wanted to put myself back in that position. So, I mean, now that I'm in my weight range, I give myself 3 to 5 pounds leeway, and if I creep out of that range, then I kind of, you know, pull the reins back in again, and it's much easier to lose 3 pounds than it was to lose 96 pounds. So I try to always remember how hard I worked, and I think of that spa robe, and I think that's just never going to happen again. So
okay, so that's a memory that stayed with you.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a favorite exercise or routine that you like to do?
I have a lot of favorite workout routines, but I do an awful lot of Kathy Friedrich's workouts. I really enjoy her weight training workouts. I had started, and I still use Gilad's Quick Fit and Bodies in Motion DVDs, and I really find those to be great home workouts that are, you know, they're excellent cueing. They're easy to follow. You don't need a lot of equipment, and I just find it's a great home workout to try to get a good workout in at home and still get great results.
Is it necessary for someone who wants to do what you did, lose a significant amount of weight, is it necessary to spend a lot of money in order to achieve that goal?
No, and I think a lot of people make that mistake. I think a lot of people think if I go and buy this really expensive weight loss program, or I spend a lot of money on all these supplements, that will get the job done. And I don't think that that's really what anyone needs to do. I think it's as simple as calories in and calories out. And I think if you watch what you eat, and my tips for everyone is, like, you know, shop the outside of the supermarket. And if it's, the more processed it is, the more sodium and fat and calories are usually in them. So try to stick to the foods in their simplest forms. Like I say, think orange, not orange juice. And then as far as like workouts go, you know, there are very reasonable gym memberships, but the thing is most people don't go. Most people pay the monthly gym membership and then just think paying for it, you have to actually, you know, take advantage of that to make that, and most gyms count on that the people are not going to continue to go. They're going to sign up for their membership and not use it. But I say the home video workouts are a great, reasonable option. There's also free workouts on YouTube. You would be surprised if you searched any kind of exercise. You can find almost anything on YouTube. There's all kinds of ways, you know, and I use my social media aspect to give people tips, and they don't have to pay for that. They can follow my page for free and get all kinds of advice and inspiration and tips and things to do and recipes, and there's so much you can do without having to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and it's a huge industry, the weight loss industry, and they capitalize on people's wish that something was fast and easy.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, you oftentimes will see online and also on television that if you buy such and such a product, you don't have to go out and you don't have to do all the sweat equity, so to speak.
Right.
You know, you will lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds or whatever. Seems too good to be true, though.
That's right. If it seems too good to be true, it is too good to be true. And I think that they capitalize on people wanting instant results. And I always try to encourage people by saying, you didn't gain the weight right away, and you're not going to lose it the same way. And it's, I set for myself small mini goals because 96 pounds seemed overwhelming to think about. So every, 5 or 10 pounds, I would set mini goals, and then when I would hit that goal, I would allow myself, maybe I'd get a manicure, or maybe I'd treat myself to something not food related. And and I tried not to get comfortable because I always explain that sometimes when people lose some weight, they get very comfortable, and then it's easy to backslide. So I only bought 1 or 2 pairs of pants in a certain size and said, I'm not staying here, so I don't need to invest. I don't need to invest a lot at this size.
Okay, so basically that makes perfect sense. So basically, the way you attacked your weight loss was incrementally, a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and you didn't have this tremendous goal that you were going after. Okay, so if you go after a loss of, let's hypothetically 10 pounds, that's at least I would think emotionally more doable than if I look and say, oh, I got to lose 96 pounds.
Right.
I mean, that seems daunting, doesn't it?
Very depressing, yes, yes.
So now let's get back to something that you mentioned a little bit earlier. You talked about people will take out the gym membership, they'll pay for it every month, but they won't go. What keeps you motivated to exercise every day? I mean, isn't it easy to one day just say, you know what, I don't feel like exercising. I'm not going to do it today.
I try to do it every day for a reason, because I feel like if it's part of my routine, it's just something I will do. And I always say some people really consider it, work, and that's why they call it a workout. I said, but I really enjoy what I do. I feel better when I'm done. There are days when I might do something different. Maybe I'll do yoga, maybe I'll just go for a walk or a bike ride or something that's a little bit, it's not heavyweight training every day, or, and it's not always the same intensity. But I try to do something I enjoy. I take ballroom dance classes. I try to do something with the boys that's, maybe we'll go skating, maybe we'll, do something just to, I try to take the stairs everywhere I go, up to 20 flights. I will not take an elevator if I can help it. And just extra things that I do. I have a little Fitbit, so I try to get my 10,000 steps in a day, and that's like in addition to my workout.
Dancing is good because you're moving, and it's fun.
And it's fun.
And it's fun, right. You say you walk the stairs. That's good, instead of taking the elevator. And I think you're right. You do have to have a limit as far as how many stairs you're going to climb. And then, of course, you say you have your Fitbit, so you must be doing walking. You must be going out and getting in, what did it say, 5,000 steps?
10,000 I aim for a day. And that's true. That's hard to do, especially, if you're in the winter when you're in a lot. But it keeps you mindful of that you need to get around, get up and move around.
Now, are these leisurely steps, or are you actually working when you take these steps?
For my Fitbit, I try to use that as my extra. So, that's just, I try to get those steps in. I don't count that as my workout, unless my walk is my workout for the day. Like, I mean, there are times, I would go for a walk with a friend, and we walk the lake, or and then that's maybe that's my cardio for the day. But as a general rule, I try to make that in addition to just to keep mindful of moving. And they say sitting is the new smoking, and so I try to make sure that I'm not sitting all the time, and that I'm getting up even just in the office, or go outside, or just move around a little bit.
Right. Wasn't easy to do in February 2015 with all the snow.
Very true. That's why the home workouts were very helpful. Very helpful.
There you go. Okay, so now let's focus on nutrition. You changed your diet. My questions are, first of all, did you eliminate anything from your diet? Did you look at certain foods and say, you know what, I can't eat these anymore because they're bad for me? Did you do that?
I did do that. And some foods, it wasn't even the question of, I know people don't like to think of foods as being in terms of bad foods, but for me, it was certain foods I couldn't portion control. Like I say pasta all the time, like I can't have a half a cup of pasta. I just don't want that. I will eat more pasta. And so for me, the white starchy carbohydrates, I call them, was something I needed to eliminate. Just because I didn't find them satisfying, I didn't find them filling, and I found I would overeat when I had those kinds of food. So typically now my general rule is if it's white, I try not to eat it. Unless it's cauliflower, then it's okay.
All right. Okay, so as you put it, white starchy carbohydrates, so we're talking things like potatoes, we're talking white bread, white rice.
Yep.
You don't eat those at all?
Nope, I substituted those.
What do you I was just going to ask, what do you substitute for?
I have sweet potatoes, which are so much more of a healthy choice than a white potato. I have short grain brown rice if I feel like rice. I don't really substitute the pasta. I just there's not really something that I've substituted for that.
So pasta's completely off the list.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've tried different things. I mean, I'm joking now that we make these zucchini noodles and they call them zoodles. You know, like and so sometimes I'll have that for a side dish, or but you know, a lot of times it's a sweet potato, it's brown rice, or sometimes it's not. You know, I try not to have a lot of carbohydrates in general at night. So that my dinner tends to be more like I will have like a really big salad, some vegetables, and a steamed lean protein.
What do you have for breakfast?
Every day for breakfast is a Luna bar. It's about going on almost 15 years now of every day for breakfast. And
what is a Luna bar?
A Luna bar is a protein bar that someone recommended to me once, and it was love at first bite. And I've had one for breakfast every morning with my coffee. And I said, they come in a bunch of different flavors, so I don't get bored with them. But I find them filling, and I've really enjoyed them. It's been a staple, and I recommend always keep one in your pocketbook or on you, just so if you can have a healthy snack and you're not tempted at, if you're getting a coffee at Dunkin' Donuts.
How long does a Luna bar stay with you? Is it something that stays with you for a half hour, an hour? Does it stay with you for multiple number of hours?
I try to have small mini meals. So like my first meal of the day is my Luna bar, and then about 2 or 3 hours later, I'll have maybe a protein shake or some almonds, like a mid-morning snack, and then my next meal will be at lunch. I think the thing is not to let yourself get too hungry, where you're starving, and then all of a sudden you'll tend to overeat. So I tend to have maybe 5 small mini meals, and I always say I'm stingy with my calories, so there are things that I will have a lot of. Like when I make a salad, it's a big trough of salad.
Plus, it's my understanding that when you do have these mini meals that you're talking about, it stokes your metabolism. It keeps that burning.
Right.
So it's important to do that. And you're right. If you have coffee in the morning and wait to eat until 5 o'clock in the evening, you're going to eat everything in sight,
right?
aren't you?
It's true. It's true. And then your metabolism hangs on to every ounce of fat too, because it thinks it's in starvation mode. So
exactly
that's why,
right. Yeah. It puts all that fat away, thinking, hey, we're going to need this someday.
Yeah, we don't know when we're going to see food again.
Right, exactly. How about sugars? Is that another thing that you've taken off the list, or have you modified what you do with sugar?
I put a little bit of organic sugar in my coffee, just because I guess we all have our vices, and I have a little bit of organic sugar in my coffee. I try to have raw honey if I use, maybe if I'm making some oatmeal and I use the whole oats, not the little processed packets. I'll use a little bit of honey in that, but I try to get most of, if I'm having oatmeal, I try to put more fruit in it and have more natural sugars than just, adding, tons and tons of sugar like some of the processed cereals would have.
So, and of course you said when you go to the grocery store, you shop on the outside, so you're actually staying away from the processed foods, which are loaded with sugar.
Yes, yes.
So processed foods are also off the list.
Yeah, I really try to pay attention to I always say food should be an ingredient, not have a lot of ingredients. And I try to eat, food that's not as processed, not full of fat and calories, just because they're really marketing cheap food to you, rather than something that's nutritionally helpful.
Now, how about holidays? Holidays are difficult for people for various reasons, but it's got to be difficult for somebody who's dieting. I mean, in the holidays, all these delicious foods come out, these cakes and breads and all that good stuff.
It's true. And I tried when I was losing weight is different how I would handle a holiday than now that I'm in my goal range, how I handle a holiday. Like now, being in my range, I can have, I can have a cheat day, I guess, if you want to call it that, but I still pick and choose, and I call it the worth it. It's like it has to be a worth it treat. There are plenty of times like I feel like I've eaten something and then I'm mad. I'm like, oh, that really wasn't worth it, and it wasn't good, and so I save up for things that are really like, say you're at a restaurant and they make the best creme brulee, and like, okay, I want to try that. That's that's worth it. But if you get something and you're just eating it, it's pizza at a kid's birthday party, and you could have pizza anytime. That's not really something I want to waste my my treats on. But as far as holidays go, I think that I try to always bring something that I like that maybe isn't as bad as other things. Like I like to do guacamole and vegetables, or I like, and I'll bring that as a tray, or I'll do shrimp cocktail, or I'll try to make things that are just as delicious, but not as, not as fat laden or, full of calories. And there's plenty of foods like that. And when people say, don't you feel deprived? That makes me crazy. I just always say, like, what are you depriving yourself of? Like, I said, when I have, like, lobster when I go out for dinner, I don't feel I'm depriving myself because I don't get the fettuccine Alfredo. I enjoy what I eat.
Okay, all right. I was just going to ask about restaurants and menus. So it doesn't bother you that you look at a menu and there's fettuccine Alfredo on there, and of course you've just said you don't, pasta's off the list altogether, so you can't have that.
I don't miss it, and I don't.
And you don't feel deprived.
I don't feel deprived. I try to order things, like I said, I think that you give yourself a chance to acquire new tastes. I never thought I'd be somebody who would like sushi or kale, or there are tons of foods I eat now that I never thought were going to be foods I enjoy, that I really do enjoy now. And if I look at something now that's really got a lot of sauce and grease and cheese, I'm always like, oh my God, that would just like sit so, uncomfortably. But when I go to a restaurant, I try to look online ahead of time, and I'll look at the menu and see, I'll make my choices in advance if I can. And I think that's a great piece of advice, because sometimes when you go out to eat and the waitress comes over and everyone's excited and they tell you the special is some bacon creamy cheesy thing, and you're like, oh, that sounds good, I'll try that. And I this way I know ahead of time what it is I'm gonna order, and I'm ready to go with my...
Have you adjusted your behavior with regards to alcohol and soda?
I don't drink any soda at all. It's just there's not a lot of value in any kind. I mean, I think that there's a big temptation to have a lot of diet soda, and there's been all kinds of, there's a lot of chemicals. It's not really good for you. So, I mean, that I've just kind of eliminated. Alcohol is a tricky thing, because my running joke with my friends is vodka leads to Oreos. And I said, the minute you start having alcohol, your blood sugar spikes, you're looking for something, crunchy, salty, sweet, it doesn't matter, but I'm looking for it. So when I was losing 96 pounds, I really restricted my alcohol to maybe a glass of wine, occasionally, but it does really loosen up your resolve sometimes to maybe be looking at the nacho basket a little differently.
Right, so it's just, when you have alcohol, it's just the light alcohols, but not the heavy alcohols, not the mixed drinks, none of that stuff.
Right.
Okay, so you've made some adjustments in terms of what you drink. All right, so we've talked about foods that you had to knock off the list. We've talked about how you've adjusted your drinking behavior. Are there foods that you feel are a must to have on a diet, that you must have, you must eat?
I think the thing is to make sure that you're feeding your body. I think that a lot of times people go for these really low-calorie foods that don't offer any nutritional value. I like whole oatmeal. Lean proteins are key. I think your body needs, I try to stick to chicken, fish. Salmon is very a healthy fat. And I do work in the healthy fats like avocado and some olive oil. I mean, I think there's a temptation to restrict all fats, and I think that's a mistake. Your body needs that.
Absolutely. Now, you have a Facebook page. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about your Facebook page?
Well, what happened with my Facebook page was when the Good Housekeeping article came out, I was surprised at the support and I received from friends that reached out and said they too had been struggling with putting some pounds on, and that what did I do? And I always joke that no one wants to hear what I did, because I say I watch what I eat and I exercise, and everyone wants to hear that there's a magic cabbage soup you eat on Tuesday and it falls off. But so they were following my, we were friends on Facebook, and they would check in at a restaurant, and so I would say, well, what are you ordering? And then sometimes they would text me, okay, I'm at Chili's, what can I have? And so it just sort of took a life on of its own, and jokingly they called me Facebook Jillian for Jillian Michaels, and FBJ for short. And so it became, everyone online started talking about it, and we created a page called FBJ Fit. So that and what started out as a few high school girlfriends now has just become more than I guess I expected. But I have almost 1,800 followers, and I give recipes and tips and a very firm but fun advice on how to stay in shape. And I always try to put a funny story in to try to inspire people to stick with it, because it's challenging and depressing, and people have a hard time when you're feeling down about your weight. It's very hard to be upbeat and stick to it.
Good place for us to stop. Maintaining fitness and physical health is a goal to which we should all aspire. Today we learned that there's plenty a person can do to maintain physical fitness and lose those annoying, unwelcome pounds. For example, we can adjust our diets by eating a healthful diet which minimizes the use of sugar, processed food, starchy carbohydrates, alcohol, and soda. But let's not forget the importance of developing a regular exercise and weight training program that will jumpstart our metabolism while preventing the pounds from piling on. Today we learned that combining cardio exercises and weight training provides our bodies with a great workout. And what's more, an active lifestyle not only promotes good heart health and body function, but contributes to improved cognitive function and mental abilities. And don't forget Charlene's admonition to avoid the finish line or touchdown dance mentality. In other words, weight loss and weight maintenance requires constant vigilance so that it becomes a way of life. Charlene is proof positive that by developing the discipline of exercising regularly, implementing portion control, and eating a well-balanced, nutritious meal, one likely will shed the unwanted pounds. And oh yes, let's not forget, losing weight does not need to be an expensive proposition. No doubt there are fancy diet programs, expensive gyms, and home-delivered foods. However, you can make your own healthful food. You can find many home workout options as well as reasonably priced gym memberships. Just ask Charlene. Or even better, learn Charlene's secrets by visiting her FBJ Fit Facebook page. Check out her interesting recipes and other health tips. In closing, thanks to my guest, Charlene Bazarian. Charlene, thank you very much.
Thanks, Adam.
And as always, thank you to you, our viewers, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Ramsey Barawi, Building Your Trust.